the 28th hour experience with K. Camille, where you know it's real. It's the 28th hour experience with K. Camille, where you know it's real. Current events, different topics with a twist you can't miss. K. Camille, 28th hour experience. Talking about books, different looks. Talking about stories that leave you shook. K. Camille, 28th hour experience.
Hello, everybody. It is K. Camille, and welcome back to the 28th Hour Experience, where this is your safe space with all the craziness stuff going on. We are finally at episode 8. I can't believe it. I say this every episode. If you hear that stuff going on outside, you disregard that. But I told y'all last week, they making up stuff to fix on around here. And you might hear it, you might not, but I'm just giving you a warning. I'm excited to be back for episode 8. And this episode will be quite interesting because we're going to get into the current events. We're going to get into what the F news stories. We're going to do all of that, but we are going to talk about the conspiracy theory. So if you checked out last week's episode, I said towards the end, and I know I had a little hour with y'all, but as you can see, it was a lot of stuff going on, and I'm kind of going to be reporting on the continuation of some stories from last week. But towards the end, I mentioned that I would be bringing up conspiracy theories that never sat well with me. And if you had a story or conspiracy theories that you wanted me to bring up, to DM me and to email me. And did you guys follow directions? Yes, you did. And I am so excited because I get to share 3 stories that go exactly with the 3 conspiracies that I chose to share with you today. So that's towards the end. So stay towards the end. Now let's start this thing off right. Y'all know I like to talk about music first because that's like my most favoriteest thing other than reading. I hope y'all did pick up Geneva's Rose book, Where the Bodies Are. Home is Where the Bodies Are. And Jordan Johnson, Love Me Black, and Christina Jones, Cena's No Way Out. I showed y'all that last week. I am shouting them out again. Music Corner. Now this week we do have the song of the week, which I'm going back to Jeezy. So I finally got to digest the album. I digested the album with my husband and I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. So I actually have a song, and the song that we're doing this week is My Friends by him on the new album. And the reason I love this song is because the sample. Now this album is very sample based. It's very different from what we're used to with Jeezy. Jeezy, he is the hook man. He gonna have a hook that you know by the end of the song, or like trap beats and stuff like that, right? This album was very sample based, and it was samples from songs that your mama, your grandma listened to. So I love My Friends because it samples Nights Over Egypt by the Jones Girls, and if you know, you know, and if you don't, you gonna know today. So My Friends samples Nights Over Egypt, and I remember this song as a little girl. My mama had a record player, and I remember having to switch and flip over the 45s or the LPs for my mom. And I love the Jones Girls because they sound so perfect and they harmonize. And back then, you didn't have no auto tune. It was what it was. And I just thought they all sounded so pretty. And to hear that Jeezy on the new album sampled that and did it justice, I was like, yeah, that's going to be what we rocking to. Honorable mention, too, I do love Snowman Party. A good sample. He funny as hell because he said ain't no baby oil, just wine at my party. I don't know about none of that fuck shit, none of that. It's just wine, no baby oil. Like, you got to catch what he's saying in that song. He drops a lot of jewels in that song. But I appreciate the album. And if you don't like the album, I think you're probably late to the Jeezy party. If you appreciate the album, you watch Jeezy grow up too. If you were here with Trap or Die, and this album is representing him enjoying the fruits of his labor. Yes, we was Trap or Die, we was doing that, but now it's like I'm sitting back and I'm enjoying getting older, watching my kids grow up. He's talking about love being married again. In this album, you just gotta check it out. I really, really like it. If you don't resonate with it, that means you still doing trap or die shit, and this album is not for you. Okay, but he got an album for you. Just go. But this album is for grown women, grown men who done did their dirt back in the day, and now they enjoying the fruits of their labor. That's what I got from it. Next, that I wanted to bring up. So the Quiet Storm selection. Because My Friends is the song of the week, the Quiet Storm selection will be Nights Over Egypt by the Jones Girls. It's only right. It's one of my favorite songs. It reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of my mom. Rest in peace to my mommy. She put me on so many old school songs. Like, she was born 56, so I got the best music catalog in my mind because of my parents and my older siblings. So I am a big, huge fan of D'Angelo, and I was floored when I seen on Tuesday that he passed away with his battle with pancreatic cancer. My next thought went to him and Angie Stone's child, their son they had together, and how he no longer has his parents. They both died in the same year. That's eerie as fuck. I lost my parents in under a year, both of them together. So my heart goes out to that young man. I love D'Angelo, a beautiful artist. He just wanted to be known for his music, and that is what I know him for. Our honorable song, um, I got three. Me and Those Dreamy Eyes, When We Get By, and I love when he came out with Black Messiah, Really Love. And so Really Love, When We Get By, and Me and Those Dreamy Eyes. Uh, those are all our Quiet Storm selections. I had to add them. Rest in peace to D'Angelo. We love you. And your music was art, and it will live through us for the rest of our days. Those are the songs. Go check them out. Tell me what you think below. And music news, did y'all know that MTV is shutting down all its music channels after 40 years now? This makes me sad because I was a video kid. My siblings were video kids. What was it, Wild Style back then? For me, it was 106 in Park, MTV Jams, VH1 Soul. They had me in a chokehold. You anticipated Janet Jackson video. You anticipated a Missy Elliott video. You anticipated a Busta Rhymes video. I'm and Sierra and Beyonce. I wanted to watch my videos. The videos now, I don't even watch them, but when I do catch a video, I be like, this video ain't got nothing to do with what the hell they talk about. They made videos back in the day, like whole movies, whole intros. I mean, look at R. Kelly and Isley Brothers, and even Biggie and Puff, even Dr. Dre and Tupac with the California Love. Like, they made that look like Mad Max, and that was a video. Like, they don't do videos how they used to. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that it's shut down, but it's kind of like for the millennials and the Gen Xers, we're kind of sad that MTV is shutting down. That means that we're old as fuck. That's really what that's saying. Like, y'all, ain't nobody watching videos no more. You better go on YouTube. But that definitely stuck out to me. Now, I want to talk about some books. Y'all know I always talk about books. And um we have a new Reading Rainbow host, which I think is pretty cool. Michael the librarian. I don't know if you guys are hip to him. I've seen him a couple of times. I'm not going to say that I'm privy to who he is and what he does. I'm pretty sure. Obviously, he's a librarian, but have I watched anything else? No. But do I think that this is good and needed? Yes, it is. Especially when you see that reading scores are the lowest that they have ever been. These kids need to be encouraged to read and to continue to read. So if Michael the librarian can bring back that magic, like and I'm forgetting his name, y'all can sue me later for that. But the original Reading Rainbow host, if he can bring back that same magic, I'm all for it. But I'm also the person that is like, don't bring nothing new back. I mean, old back. Leave it how it was. We don't need that. I'm also that person. So take what I say with a grain of salt. Next story about books. Solange launches Say Haran's library to preserve and share Black literature. So that's another thing that's been going on, even politically. They have been trying to erase African American history, Black literature, all those type of things. So it's good to see a person, a nose at that, invest in Black literature because it needs to be saved. It needs to be shared to the masses, especially for the new kids coming up. Because if you don't know where you come from, you don't know where the hell you're going. That's just a fact. And if you want to know where they hide all the good, juicy secrets, they hide them in books because they don't believe people know how to read. So let's all prove them wrong and pick up a book and learn something, okay? Now, that's enough with music. That's enough with books. I didn't really have much for music. Again, y'all can help me out with the music thing too. Oh, in news too, I will say this: Pooh Shiesty is free. So all those Pooh Shiesty fans, be excited. Y'all guy is out. I don't know a lot of Pooh Shiesty. I know the ABCDEFG song. I like that song by Pooh Shiesty. So you free and stay free. That's all I got. Y'all need to stay free so y'all can make music for y'all fans and keep them happy. Now let's go to our current events. Y'all know the current events always be some stuff. So I'm going to go through them best way I know how. And I'm not going to stay on Donald Trump too long, but y'all know I got to bring his crazy self up. I'm going to start it off with the 16. We want to give our condolences to the 16 lives that were lost in the Tennessee explosion. It was an explosive plant called the Accurate Energetic Systems. I do have an article in the description bar if you want to read some more about that. That was very devastating. It was something that I came across when I actually got finished recording last week's episode, and I was just like, I'll talk about it next week. And it really, how I was watching the news, they were trapped. At first, they didn't know how many lives. At first, when I seen it last week, it was 9 lives. And reading the updated story, it's been 16. And they basically were trapped in there. And they just assumed, they had to assume that they were gone before they could confirm it. So it's very sad. It's very traumatic. We want to send condolences to those families of the people whose lives were lost in that tragic accident. Again, when I'm talking about the government, we know that the government is still shut down. Still shut down. I will have an article below in the description bar talking about how they predict that it's going to be one of the longest shutdowns, even though we haven't been shut down since 1981. So this right now is speaking numbers. It's like Donald Trump is doing so much. It's so much going on. And he literally just came out earlier this week talking about basically redoing everything. If it's something with a Democrat, if it was Democrat push, he's reversing it. So what we have to realize is, one, the big beautiful bill did get passed already. So don't be confused. That got passed already. What he's doing right now is basically executing. So it's going to be a domino effect when it comes to healthcare, Social Security, insurance, education. He just laid off tons of people in the education department. The education department that emphasizes with the special education, you have to understand that affects inclusion classrooms, that affects IEPs. Michigan just signed in an order with the lunch fiasco. I believe in episode 3, I was explaining to you guys how Michigan could not come together with a lunch program where all kids could eat lunch for free. That just got signed this week. So now kids in Michigan, I'm reporting to you, you guys will be able to eat for free at school. Now with the government shutdown, with all of that, I already told you guys last week that the flights are being affected. If these other orders that he has coming into play, these are messing with voting rights, education, health, Social Security, food. All of these things are domino effects. And the rumors and the whispers about what would happen if Donald Trump got into office, like, I need everybody to pay attention that it's definitely something that is, it's happening right now. It's not anything to anticipate. We're living it right now. And the only thing that I can say is that we need to pray, because at this point, you got Donald Trump thinking he's doing such a great job, and he's not. So, I mean, and if you tell him he's not, he'll try to do you like he did Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, so it's only so much you can say, and that's why you have Robert De Niro coming out talking about the No Kings protest. The No Kings protest is basically a protest saying we don't want kings. That's why we had Independence Day. That's what all of that was about. We did not want to the Americans did not want to be ran under a hierarchy of kings and queens. They didn't want that. That's what Independence Day was about. That's what the Civil Wars were all about. That was what the fight was. We wanted our own democracy. How Donald Trump is playing it, it sounds dictatorial. It sounds like kings. So that's why he is pressing the No Kings protest, which is planned to be a peaceful protest saying we want to keep our democracy how it's been. But we need the people who are voting, the people who, you and I, to stand behind that and say we want to keep our democracy. You got people who can't even, it's not even freedom of speech anymore. We turn around and the voting rights will be gone, and it'll be segregated schools again, all because everybody thought it was a game. And oh, he's sending a stimulus check, or oh, all of these things that are happening are to distract us from the bigger thing that's happening. You keep worrying about these celebrities if you want to. These celebrities ain't gonna save your ass. They got more money to get further than you will when the shit comes. Because what if the purge happens, or the video I showed you last week where the man said that a woman, the whole Walmart had to get quarantined, and they're not going to tell us the truth. It's stuff fall out the sky. They don't tell us the truth. That's why I wanted this podcast today, the episode, to be focused on conspiracy theories, because you don't know what the government is telling us. We don't know if what's true, what's not true, what's a little bit. They're never going to give it to us all, because one, my mom used to say back in the day, especially with the alien stuff, like public panic. But I really feel like if we knew everything, we would back out the situation as far as, oh no, y'all did this shit. We about to go somewhere else. I feel like everybody would go to their God, whoever they believe their God to be. If we knew the truth, I feel like that would make us all race to who we pray to. And we would not even look at the government for nothing else. So I feel like they keep a little bit from us, so we keep looking for more and keep trying to investigate more. We know that they lying to us. And right now, they trying to take back a little bit of this social media, because it's kind of backfiring, because you have so many people with opinions, and they coming up here and they telling you what they think and what they know and all of that. So it's scary. So now we're gonna try to dumb that down and let's take TikTok. Yeah, you want to take TikTok because you got people from all around the world saying, hey, something not right. Hey, something over here happening. Hey, I'm seeing this. Which leads me into what's going on in Chicago. Chicago and Illinois are suing the Donald Trump administration since the deployment of the federal agents and ICE. Also, Chicago is shutting businesses down, not allowing ICE to patron their businesses and their tow truck. They're towing the truck drivers, towing their vehicles, the ICE vehicles away. They're harassing the brown and black people in Chicago, and that's not right. So I hope that something is resolved in that situation, honestly, because that's too much. You know, then you have the FBI director who looks like a deer in headlights every time I see him. I'm sorry, look at this picture, and he wants to report on uh Chicago statistics, basically saying everybody in the gang. What you need to be focused on is, hello, our president is a convict. It could be a YN all day, and he ain't a convict yet, or never will be. So how about that? Focus on that. Do that. You want to focus. You want to use that as a reason to let out federal agents. But what do that? You're trying to correlate. They're trying to correlate two things that don't make sense, and I really don't. I don't like that, because it's going to affect people that look like me. I got sons, and my sons are going to grow up, and I don't want people to think that they're YNs because they're black. That's ridiculous. Okay, so my fight is bigger than that, because I'm not going to be here forever. So I need the message to be out there that it's power in our voices, it's power in our vote. So while we have the opportunity to vote, can y'all please take your ass out there and vote, because things like this wouldn't happen if we had the right people in Congress saying what we like and vote for what we like. Because it's all a domino effect. Donald Trump don't just get to go in there like boom, boom, boom. He has to answer to somebody too. That's the thing. So when they send our representatives out there and say yes or no to vote for what we want and what we don't, those are really important. So I need y'all to understand voting locally makes all of the difference. Even if you feel like voting for the president ain't nothing, voting locally will make all the difference. Um, with all the construction and everything that they're doing, even here in Detroit, you got to pay attention to everything they're doing. Nothing is happening by accident. The zones that they're redoing, all these pathways, you got to pay attention to everything they're doing. And then every time things get too steep, we get some celebrity gossip that's more salacious than the last. You want to know why? Because they don't want you paying attention to what Donald Trump just said or what Donald Trump just did. Well, I'm going to report it because that's what the 28th hour experience is for. It's for you to be enlightened with what's going on. I try to give us the news in the lightest form ever. I try. Let's move on to Donald Trump because I don't want to stay on him too long. He is bringing peace to the Middle East. That's about the only thing he can say, and he gonna keep reminding us till he out of office that he was the reason that Hamas let release nearly 2,000 Israeli hostages after 2 years. Okay, Donald Trump is going to say that he is the reason to bring peace in the Middle East. He wants to start rebuilding Gaza immediately. But remember when he first, I want to say if he when he was running or when he first won, he was talking about turning Gaza into some vacationing ass home. So please remember that. So with him saying, yeah, we're going to rebuild Gaza immediately, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to allow those it's because he's saying he wants them to rebuild it immediately doesn't mean that he's going to let those people come back. He's not going to let those 2,000 people come back. You don't know that because I remember watching him on CNN say, we can make a nice vacation area where this happened. If you go and you look at what Gaza looked like before 2 years ago and look at what it looks like now, if I have a picture, I'm going to show it right here. Devastating. If you think that Donald Trump is that nice of a man that he's going to rebuild those people's homes, he not about to do it. I don't believe it. And if he do, I'll come back and apologize. Until then, I'm on the side that he ain't going to do it. Now, when it comes to the politics, I don't cover too much politics. I like to cover things that I feel like will affect people that are around me. So, don't expect me doing whole dissertations about it. I'm only going to speak about it if I feel like it's going to affect the program that I'm a part of. Okay, I don't think I'm bigger than the program, but I would like everybody that is a part of this program to know what the hell is going on. Okay, is that fair? All right, let's go to the what the F news because these topics are so unbelievable. You say what the fuck? Okay, I'm going to start off with the 5-year-old because this pissed me off so bad. This was another story that dropped when I got done recording last week. Let me read the story. Let me go to it. So now, one thing that I don't like about this story is when I was reading it, I didn't know the races of the boys where the situation happened. But when I was looking again before today, just on the case period, I was seeing how they were saying it was white boys, but when the mom, I seen this on Facebook. I saw this story on Facebook before it hit Instagram and the news. Okay, I was scrolling and I seen the story, clicked on it. I'm gonna read a little bit of it. I'm gonna post them. You can pause to read them. I can't read all of this because it'll get my video flag because the horrendous things that these boys did to this girl. I don't know if they're white or black. I'm not going to confirm that here because I seen two different stories where the boys were black, and then I seen a story where the boys were white. But I do know for a fact that this is a black 5-year-old little girl that this happened to. I do know that for a fact. So Her mom said on September 13, 2025, my daughter resided at a trusted family member's residence around the area of 145th in St. Clair while I underwent a medical procedure. While she was away, I got a phone call from my family member stating that my daughter walked out of her house and she couldn't find her anywhere, and that the authorities were contacted. I was immediately filled with panic. I rushed out of my house and arrived to the scene. Soon as I got there, I ran to the EMS truck where I found my daughter unresponsive, bloody with her hair pulled from her scalp, her body covered in bruises, fingernails filled in dirt in her eyes, filled with blood, her neck showing signs of strangulation, her mouth and lips bloody, her private area filled with debris and dirt, with a big lump on her head. I couldn't believe what I saw in front of me. My daughter did not look like herself. She was traumatized. She was shaken up. A group of bigger kids around ages 8, 9, and 10 walked up to my daughter, presenting themselves as friendly, took her by her hand, and walked her to a field that was far away from the residence. In that field, they beat my daughter until she was unconscious. They ripped out her hair. They held my daughter down as they essayed her. They also shoved sticks down her throat and down her private area. They stripped her naked and strangled her with her own shirt. One of the children then proceeded to take out his private area and leave her covered in their urine. They beat her. They sodomized her until she was unconscious and unresponsive. One of the three kids in and grated their teeth on my baby's bottom area to hold her still as they essayed her. The kids then left her where she was, not telling no adult, thinking they succeeded in unaliving her. They continued playing with my family member. They continued playing. My family member, as she was still looking for my daughter, she said street and she had not knew at the time, harmed my daughter and walked up to them and asked them if they saw a little girl. They stared at her with no remorse and told her no and continued playing, knowing that they had just what they had just done to my daughter. As my family member went back to her house waiting on the authorities, the same kids who she had questioned came to her with their mother saying that they know where my daughter is. Them same two kids that stated they did not know where my daughter was, now with their mother, took my family member to where my daughter was found in a field naked, brutally beaten, penetrated and unresponsive. Her clothes, her hair, all later found her shoes were scattered all around the field. My cousin, panicking, placed my daughter in her vehicle, rushed back to her house, and continued waiting for the authorities to get there. My daughter is completely traumatized. Y'all can finish reading the rest. I'm going to leave the rest of the slides up there for y'all to read because it's a lot. Like, it's a lot. She just goes into, how it made her feel, how her daughter is now behaving. Her behavior is, not good because she's traumatized. And what makes it even messed up when she continues as you read on, they're not doing anything. They're saying it's nothing they can do because they're children. Now, if the story where the children are white is true, that's why I don't want to speak on the nationality of the people who did this to this young lady, because if this is in fact true that they are white, you can't tell me this is not racist. But if even still, I don't care if they were children. It's children that have been arrested before all the time. When they need to go to jail. They need to go to jail. The fact that they're telling their mother it's nothing, they're telling that girl's mother it's nothing they can do. That's not good enough. And I don't know how I would feel as a parent. I don't even know if all my marbles probably would have spilled out my ears at that point. So I'm really praying for her. I'm praying for her mother, her family. I'm praying that they get justice because that is sick. And the fact that y'all are 8, 9, 10 years old and y'all doing that, y'all are sick. And who's teaching y'all and what's going on in y'all house is so many questions and not enough answers. It's one of those questions, the stories where it's like, what the fuck? Like that. I got another what the F story where a woman effed around and found out. So we have a wife, um, and her entire family is unalive because she had a sugar daddy who, wanted her to leave her husband and she refused. So he unalived her husband, and the 1-year-old threw her 1-year-old in a pond. So it's like one of those situations where I've been saying right now what's going on in the world is called spiritual warfare, where it's some of the ugliest, nastiest things that could happen to a person, an individual is happening. Kids are killing their parents, parents are killing their kids, people are crashing out. We're at an all-time low of vibration. And I need people to be very careful and be mindful of the company you keep and things that you invite in your life, because you may think you getting away with something and you may think the grass is green on the other side. You're going to have to pay for it somehow, some way. Karma has a way of coming. And I'm not saying that that woman deserved that, because she didn't deserve that. And her family definitely didn't deserve that. But you got to be careful, because when you get married, you making them vows and you making them promises. And, it's just like, it could have went the other way too. The husband could have snapped. So when you get to playing with people emotions and stuff, you can't control how a person will react. Be expected to get a reaction. Every reaction is going to get a reaction. That's what y'all got to know. And sometimes it may cost your life. So that's like a cautionary tale just for everybody to be careful, and be careful what you choose to do, right? The next story is this one crazier than the last one, because I really want to know. Now, with the fuck around and find out, y'all tell me who y'all think was wrong, like, because we don't know the whole situation, but that's what it's been presented to be. uh you know who was wrong? Do you think he had to do all of that? Like, let's yeah, tell me what y'all think. So here's the next story. A wife's husband passed. Okay, so this story I found on Facebook. This lady's husband passed away, and all of a sudden, multiple women started coming out talking about how they miss him, including photos and receipts of the times they spent together. And what did the wife do? Canceled the funeral, cremated him, and donated his ashes to science. His mom agreed with the wife, but his sisters are pissed off about it. What y'all think? Now, for me, once the mama wasn't too pissed about it, I don't see it being a problem. She made his ass and ain't got a problem about it. If the mama, cause fuck what them sisters talking about, okay? Cause I'm a sister, okay? The maker, the mama said, "Oh yeah, go ahead, delete all that shit, go ahead." And she did better good for science. Now, science gets to work on someone's ashes and discover some new stuff we may need to solve the world. Since you wanted to be community dick, I get it. You wanted to be community dick. Save the world, Craig. Gone out with a bang. Hey, you win some, you lose some. In this case, he did not live to fight another day, but he fucked around and found out in the afterlife. So, how y'all feel about that? Do you think the wife was a bit bizarre? Would you be pissed like the sisters? I don't know. I said, once the mom said her piece and she didn't have a problem with it, because I feel like if the mom had a problem with it, then then mom, you worry about burying them. I'm about to go head on, and you can worry about burying them and the other hoes he was cheating on me with. That would have been my position. But since the mom said, "Hey, that's a good idea," send them off to science. That's good. Hey, your mama said okay. It was cool. That's just what y'all think. Anywho, let's move on. So, I don't know about this, y'all. So they saying another body has surfaced near Houston College in the Bayou. They are denying a serial killer, but this is another body. It's been, I think, about 16 bodies. I'm going to get more information and we'll talk about it next week, but I just thought to bring it up right quick, because it's like, it's creeping me out. But how y'all keep finding bodies in one central area and denying it's a damn serial killer? See that? I don't understand that. And that's what be making me think, like, when you watch the movies and like it be somebody from the law enforcement who has something to do about it the whole time. See, that's be making me think that somebody knows something that it's too much. When I get more information on it, I'll report on it next week. But I just wanted to enlighten y'all with that. Moving on. Um, the Kyren Lacey. So this was a football player, NFL draft. Um, and he literally, his life got ruined over a lie. Like, literally, he unalived himself because he could not take the ongoing backlash for um, supposedly allegedly killing an elderly man. It's video proof showing that his car came after the impact. It's so much proof showing that he was innocent. I have videos below in the description bar for you to check out. And it's just very, very sad because it's too late. Unfortunately, it's too late, and it's nothing you can say. It's nothing that the system, that society, social media can say to that boy's family, because he couldn't take it. His whole life got ruined. He had his whole life ahead of him, and he literally got a death put on him that he did not do. And he was trying to stand true to that, and it just became too much. So I feel like the people involved that had a hand in pushing that narrative, they're gonna have to live with that, because they're the ones who, had a hand in pushing that. So hopefully you can live with yourself. Now, my last story, about what the fuck news. Now, it's Halloween season, and I want you guys to be prepared when you're doing the trick or treating. Is they have these gumballs or jawbreakers that are disguised as jawbreakers or gumballs, and they're really fentanyl. Please be careful when you're trick-or-treating, or go to a trunk-or-treat. Go to somewhere where it's facilitated by a church, a school, or a police or fire department, because really going door to door now, you got some sick ass people out here. And if they giving out fentanyl balls, and this is the real tea, and this is what I do with my kids, okay? If it's something that I know is a legit piece of candy, I will give my kids a piece of candy. But I confiscate those bags when we get in the car, because I'm driving, or whoever's driving, whatever. I'm confiscating those bags because kids be sneaking and they be lying. You know they digging in that bag. So to prevent your kid from eating a razor, or eating some crack, or eating some fentanyl, or eating some weed gummies, any of that sick shit, take the bags. They gonna be mad about it. They gonna be mad about it. All right. Give them one piece of candy, or you buy some candy, because sometimes I do that. Buy you some candy or some snacks for the trick or treating road, some chips. Give them that. Y'all eat that. I have to go through this candy, okay? Because it's getting real out here. But confiscate those bags after you do the trick or treating, even after the trunk or treats, because people are donating candy to those things too, and they could be some weirdos. Confiscate those bags once you leave those venues, so that you can check the candy and your kids be okay, okay? Because we can't remake kids. We can rebuy candy, right? But we can't remake our little babies. That's our current events. That's the What the F news this week. Now let's end it with a bang. The conspiracy theories. Now, last week I asked you guys to tell me what conspiracy theories always stuck out to you, or whatever. I have 3 that stuck out to me. I'm gonna tell you why, and then um yeah, I'm gonna tell you why, and then I'm gonna share the stories behind it, okay? So, the first conspiracy that always stood out to me was the Nikola project. And because, one, I never understood how a man so innovative died broke like that. The story of where he was in a predicament, the position where he was trying to discover how energy could be universal to the world, not just, you know, section off, like where we could have energy without paying anything. So I like, well, and it's not that I like this conspiracy, but it's always a conspiracy that stuck over my head, because one, he was focusing on, he got backing by JP Morgan. If we all know him to be JP Morgan Chase. And see, he a conspiracy within himself, because he the story with him and the Titanic, look that up. That's a rabbit hole. But this one, he was bagging Nikola Tesla's project with getting that universal energy thing going. It was until when he asked, like, can we meter it? Like, get a meter to, get people to pay for it. And Nikola was like, what are you talking about? Like, this this is sensational. Like, people ain't gonna need to plug nothing up. Like, this is gonna be free energy. And JP Morgan did what he did best. He made him look like a crazy. He pulled his money away, and ultimately that's what happened. Everybody wrote him off as crazy. What never sat right with me was, okay, you pulled his financial backing once he decided he didn't want to show y'all how to do it because he wanted to do it the free way. When they did go and confiscate his things, it was about 40 boxes, between 40 and 80 boxes. It's 20 boxes that are still missing, that they don't have no idea where they are. Even more further, Donald Trump's uncle was a part of that, getting those boxes, those evidence. So it's like, come on now. You can go down that Donald Trump time travel rabbit hole. That's like a little honorary mention if you bored and you ain't got nothing to do and you want to be amazed. Go down the Donald Trump time travel rabbit hole. I promise you, it's chef's kiss, because you'll be like, what? Because it kind of falls in line with this, because his family was in some shit before he was even what we know him to be. So that conspiracy, it just always came off to me very wrong, and it was just like, he knew. It's, how is it America always treats their innovators like garbage? Like, if it's something that they can't capitalize off of, they don't want no parts of it. But those 20 boxes that's missing, I'm pretty sure are filled with what we need, the answers we need, so we don't have to pay DT. But you didn't hear that from me, just my opinion. The second one that I really feel like is was always weird when I would read about it or hear about it was the MK Ultra project, the mind control project, which I feel is still possible. They use drugs, they use TV, they use music, they use government officials. They would hypnotize people. Like, I feel like they still do that. The reason I say that was that incident that happened on the bus where that man came and he unalived that Russian lady. I believe she was Russian. She wasn't black. So the fact is, he stabbed her or whatever, right? But it was some stories coming out where people felt like he was under some type of mind control. Because who does that realistically? Like, you just came on the bus. She sat in the seat in front of him, and then he just go crazy. I feel like that was MK Ultra, because what did that do? That distracted us from something that was going on in America. Now, if you go back to that date when that happened, go and see what happened important on that day. I ain't about to tell you. You go look it up. Because I like y'all to do a little homework. I like y'all to have a little fun with this. I can't give you all the sauce. You got to do some dipping yourself. Because I don't need to get flagged for everything. The last, and so wait, let me see. Did I say everything I need to say about MK Ultra? And so, also with MK Ultra, is they got missing files. They don't. It's still stuff that's classified that's not even out. And the reason I feel like that's not even out, because they still use it. It's just that simple. They still use it. It has to be some form of mind control, because there's too many people out here who are extra weird and they don't care about being extra weird. And I'm not saying extra weird in a good way, because we love our weirdos. But then we have the weirdos. And y'all know what I'm talking about. So that one was always like very weird to me, why did y'all want to do that anyway? It was a big why. Why did you want mind control over people anyway, if this is supposed to be land of the free? We the only country I know talk about free this, freedom that, the Free Rights Act, this free, and ain't shit been free. Air not free, lights ain't free, gas ain't free, thinking ain't free, speaking ain't free, being you ain't free. I wish y'all quit using free. It's like that overused ass word, narcissist. America used the word free like motherfuckers on social media use narcissists. I'm over it. The last conspiracy that I always thought was so creepy, and I used to love having my mama talk about it, was the giants that walked the earth. And she talked about the stories in the Bible about them, and I would just be like all in, like, tell me all about them. Tell me again. Tell me again. And she'd be like, girl, you crazy. How many times you want me to tell you the story? But it was so much hard proof, like the huge doors that are in those buildings. They found footprints, like actual footprints, those huge books. First of all, what human made that book bigger than them? How did you do that? And it was no machines back then to do no pressing books. This is back in the day, y'all. So you got these big doors that's bigger than a 6 foot, 7 foot man. Like we talking about 11 feet doors. You talking about books that can fit in the palm of a 12 foot man. I don't know. They're big and they're old, where it was no pressing machines or none of that. Explain it. Why did y'all have doors bigger than y'all? So y'all just created ladders upon ladders to reach the door? That don't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. And I want to cover my ears every time they say it's a conspiracy theory, because you just can't make that make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. So with these three conspiracies, right? I got three stories, and oh my God, I love my followers so bad. I love y'all so bad because these stories is good. Okay, so let me go and let me read these stories for y'all. When these people sent these stories and they just so happen to go with the three conspiracy theories I had, here we go. So the first story, I was they y'all send me these wild stories that tie right into tonight's topic. So I can't say what's real, I can't say what's rumor, but what I can say is they gave me chills. Okay, because again, nobody knew what conspiracy theories I was talking about. I just said y'all send me some stuff. So here's number one. Story number one, the numbers in the static. One listener said she used to fall asleep with her radio on low. One night it switched to a channel that wasn't even programmed, just static. But every few minutes a calm voice whispered a string of numbers, then silence. She started writing them down, thinking maybe it was just interference. When she looked it up later, the coordinates matched an abandoned military site 2 towns over. The next night, the frequency was gone, like it never existed. MK Ultra vibes, right? That's what she said. Makes you wonder who's really listening, right? Like, because she came ecstatic. Like, I would be looking forward to the next night too. Like, okay, so what's the next set of numbers gonna be? Like, were you gonna send me to another base, or what's going on? The second story is the man in the Tesla tower. Now, another listener wrote that her grandfather once worked near one of Nikola Tesla's old experiment sites. Even years after it was shut down, he claimed the tower still gave off a low hum at night. One evening, he swore he saw a tall figure standing inside the fence area, glowing faint blue. The local paper called it lightning, but he said that figure turned, looked right at him, and disappeared. He never went back. Now, that one had me questioning. Maybe some of Tesla's experiments never really stopped running. Like, that's not too hard to believe for me, you know? That one was spooky because it was like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's still in his tower. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like he would have a scorn spirit out of anybody because he kind of got played. Like, and then he's seeing all of us paying for this electricity that he knew he was this close to figuring it out. I'd be pissed, and I would still be standing in the window too. The last story, y'all. The footprints in the quarry. Now, this last one came from a listener out in Kentucky. Her dad worked at a quarry for over 20 years. After a big storm, they found a slab of rock that had broken overnight. Inside were footprints, human shaped, but huge. The impressions were so deep, they had to have been made by something that weighed tons. They called a geologist, but before he arrived, men in black trucks showed up, shut down the site, and hauled the rock away. The company said it was for safety reasons, but the section of the quarry was never reopened. Now tell me that don't sound like somebody trying to hide something. See, stories like that piss me off because I just said if it was some kind of hard proof, are the men in black going to, just like if something fall from the sky in your yard, like they show us in the movies all the time? Are the men in black going to come and say no, that didn't happen, no, we're going to take this away and you don't speak on it from now on? It just makes you wonder, and these stories were a little bit of creepy for me, to share with you about my conspiracy theories that I never thought sat right with me. I appreciate you guys for sharing a little piece of your time out of your hours to be at the 28th hour experience with me, Kay Camille, your host. Please like, comment, follow, share. I'm on Instagram at the 28th hour experience. Um, Next week's episode will be just scary stories. So if you have a scary story you want to share, please DM me on Instagram at the 28th hour experience or email me at the 28th hour exp@gmail.com. I love and appreciate you all for coming and watching, liking, commenting, sharing, giving me feedback. I appreciate it. I read it. I see it. I am doing what I gotta do. And I need you to do what you gotta do by liking this video, commenting something, subscribing, send it to your friends, send it to your mama, send it to your auntie, because I'm giving y'all the news in the best way, not the dry eye guy, and not where I'm going to petrify you, where we can sit and have a conversation. And it really helps because this episode really was special to me because all the stories came from my viewers. Everything that I talked about, my viewers wanted to hear about. They wanted me to bring it up or talk about it some more. So I appreciate my 28th hour crew actually looking and listening and wanting to hear more. So until next time, my loves, I will see y'all next week. Y'all know we do our Thursdays at 7. So I will see y'all. The next interview I will tell you guys about, I believe, next episode when that will be happening. But stay tuned because I always got something going on, just like the world got something going on. Bye.
Stories that leave you shook. K Camille, 20